Hey guys, this is Class Wars Prelims for October 2015. Just potting up a little bit. I'm close to just 4.4 million BR. Didn't do anything too crazy with the pots, but actually right now it's easier for me to obtain level 6 pots than it is to obtain level 5 ones for the defense and endurance. So actually just get those with League insignias, since I would have to cache the level 5 pots, which I don't particularly want to do. Forgive me for my water pet skills. I throw on the water pet. Usually it's always right, and I just didn't check it, and that was super stupid of me. But yeah, basically put my Poseidon as one of my troops and didn't check to make sure that it had a heal or a shield, and I guess I just wasn't paying attention enough to what my water pet was doing throughout these fights that it just didn't work out. So anyway, my wind troop doing just fine, but my water troop is absolutely useless throughout this. So the first fight's going about as usual. I was really tired this night, so you can see me joking around with my guildies of trying to get them to help me stay awake. Yeah, it's been a crazy week, and I wasn't expecting Class Wars at all. I did try to throw together some expert dimensions so that my reduced res wasn't horrible, but I decided that there's no real chance of me winning right now. I don't have a merge sylph, and in particular I don't have a Frigga troop or even a Freya, so it's very, very difficult. I mean, I would think outside of Class Wars, it's not that useful to have a Freya or a Frigga. It's not like going to make an earth-shattering difference in your gameplay. But once that thing is a Sylph troop, it's just so difficult to deal with. And so Ray and Chili in that respect have a huge advantage over me. So there's nothing I can really do about that. Actually, Solara has one too. Here, I ended up fighting my in-game wife, Shock, so I was like, you know what, I'll just throw it, just have a bit of fun, and it's sort of harmless, and we've fought each other in Class Wars before, and of course I win, so I thought, oh, why not just let Shock have this one. It's not in my usual spirit to throw a fight, and she says that her draw ended up getting really difficult after she won this fight against me, so maybe it wasn't a great idea, but just a moment to let her beat me up. This one up against somebody with a fire pet. Because I take this early loss, I mean I have some fights against the stronger players in this prelims, but I wouldn't say anything that was super close other than one against Asher. Otherwise I just either get really beaten up or I win pretty handily. Somebody wishing me luck, which this month I'm really going to need it. I basically have Electro and Fire dimensions on. I'll show all of that stuff in my tune overview. I will show Electro, Fire. I'm probably at the point where I can't finish another expert before finals, so I'm probably just going to put on one advanced dim. So I'm going to go 4 experts, one advanced. And that's just gonna have to do. A really unexpected month. I was thinking it was going to be next week. Just how it was timing out, I thought that the 31st would be Class Wars Finals, and that this week there would be a Titan War. So for those of you wondering when Titan War is going to be, I have no idea. I can ask around to my friends who are in Elite Club and see if they can find out if it's just canceled for this month or if they switch the weeks and next week is Titan War. Not totally sure. We did have Chaos War and Steel Wars this month, so maybe that had something to do with it. They might alternate Titan War and those two events. Really just no clue. We do have a server merge, so there's all sorts of people, new people, or at least new to me, that are talking in current and stuff, so I don't always know what's going on all the time. Might see some new people in my guild as well, which is nice. We haven't taken in anybody yet, but I think when you get a server merge, you kind of just want to know who's who you don't want in your guild and who you do want in your guild, and it's good to take a step back and just see how things pan out. Oh, those Sylph skills on the water pet kill me. I didn't even notice until I was looking at this footage afterward. I didn't even think about it like afterward. Oh, what was happening with the water Sylph? No, it didn't happen until I was editing the footage for this prelim video. So anyway, I was just not paying attention. Here up against Vader, who's easily the strongest of the bunch that I've fought so far. With a light pet, which is an interesting choice. Light pets are definitely not something that you would generally see in Warlords Hall for class wars because so many people are protecting against Odin. But I think it's actually a pretty reasonable choice for Warriors Hall, where there aren't going to be as many Odins, or really any Odins. So I think that's a reasonable idea, and I don't think Vader makes it into Warlords Hall. So that might be a good choice. Mages, of course, have a lot of MDef though, and defense is definitely a very, very big deal. Definitely much more important than it was before patch 5.0. So Medusa had the steal and then the 30% damage increase buff, and my water pet is sitting idly doing nothing of use. Here's Jake, another light pet. Very interesting. Of course, for me, I don't know if it's just habit or whatever, I actually have another Medusa that's very close to being the same BR as my Triton, so I could technically go two wind troops for prelims as well. But usually I go two wind for the finals, mostly because there are other players who are going to have 2 wind, and I like that aggressive, you know, trying to take awakening points and trying to stay in Sylph mode as long as possible, that type of stuff. And so having 2 Medusas is really helpful in finals, whereas prelims, I don't think it's that consequential. There's an Electro Troop over there. That's interesting. That might have to do with BR. They've started to take even more servers out of my cross server section, so I feel like getting into class wars is a little bit easier than it used to be in the scheme of things. There's a nice Guardian rune there. Oh, did my water pet just do that? That was a lot of damage. Must have, well, even if he doesn't have any water resistance, that seems sort of crazy. Maybe it struck at the same time as one of my dark skills. I don't know. It looked like my water troop did a lot. Yeah, I think the water. Wow. Well, okay. So maybe those non-support skills for my water troop were not completely useless against somebody who has no water resistance, but I think that's totally irrelevant if I'm, you know, facing somebody quite strong. So here we go. Here's Asher. I think this is the closest fight that I have. He's got that red Hecate now. Of course, I could make a red Hecate, but I am in the hopes of, you know, obtaining a Loki and then making an Odin. So I'd like not to use my advanced Mahra at the moment. I do have a ton of it, but I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. I think it'll be a really big waste if I end up having an Odin and not being able to make it red or something because I put a bunch of stuff into this Hecate that I'm probably not going to use again, or at least not use a lot. Other than maybe Sylph Arena. Here we're pretty much identically set up. I don't know which Sylph he had on his kid though, but similar set up. I think stat-wise I might have a little bit of an advantage over Asher, though he does seem to be doing pretty well lately. But I imagine that my res crystals are better, and of course, and definitely my reduced res. Get my Guardian Rune out before his Delphic. Delphic doesn't quite take out my troops. I was a little bit worried here because I'm down to pretty much just my basic attacks, and those Sylph troops are just not dying. But luckily, my Medusa's holding up alright, and so I do get a steal, and that helps me out with awakening points, and so I make it to be able to use Death's Harvest again. So there's the steal. Have quite a bit of awakening points now. Not quite half. I could go for a Delphic here. I have enough awakening points for it, but I decided to stay in Sylph mode as long as possible, and so I ended up using the basic attack and Devour Soul instead. I'm so close to getting Azure here. Gets Guardian Rune on, and then a heal. And just don't quite manage. Got 20 seconds into the battle now. Left in the battle, I mean. Has the stun. It's a little bit slow to get into that awaken. Maybe could have gotten a skill off here. Well, more than one if he had gotten in a little bit quicker. I should have gone with a Guardian Rune there, but doesn't make a huge difference. And I get the victory. I think that was a pretty clear victory for me. Even though he was in Sylph mode later, I think I was in Sylph mode longer, dealing a lot of damage, so that helped me a lot. Here against Chilimac, so of course I'm racking up some wins after having given up that fight to Shock, and so I'm facing the big dogs again. Chili just has a very difficult setup here, which is totally crazy. Wait, does he have 2 Friggas? Apparently he has 2 Friggas. Did not even notice this. Okay, well, one of them's on the kid, so... Anyway, that's going to be a huge issue. Wish I'd realized this before I made my wager. He actually might be able to win the whole thing with 2 Friggas. I think Ray only has 1. But wow. Anyway, that's shocking. But yeah, so I got some nice early damage on him, but that doesn't really matter at this point. Once those shields go on, it's pretty much over. He might have put the Frigga on the kid to raise the kid's BR. The bleeds from that ranger are very, very nasty, and so he probably wanted the ranger to stay up and protect him. Huh. So yeah. This is pretty much hopeless for me. Once we start tugging Sylph troops, I mean, a lot of these guys, they have they have multiple sets of orange Sylph gear. You know, I have 2 sets of legendary Sylph gear. I don't have 4. I don't have enough to cover my whole Sylph team. So yeah. Once it starts, I think, as far as player stats go, you know, with how much I spend and whatever, I can easily stay up with Chili and Ray and some of the other players. That's not a huge issue. When you start talking about Sylph variety and just sheer Sylph quantity and high BR Sylphs in large quantities, then it becomes really, really difficult for me to keep up with them. They're just on a different level of caching that I, at the moment, am not keeping up with. I do have quite a few Balins, but... at the moment, I'm not really pushing to use them. I might save them for, I don't know, at least a couple months, and see what's going on at the Christmas sales. Wartune almost always has really outrageously huge sales over the holidays, so I'm looking forward to seeing what I can pull off there, and see if I can get some merge sylphs through all of that. We have some updates coming up. Cosmos posted about a bunch of them, in particular Gamebox, onto the blog. So basically, the mini games are getting nerfed really badly. So if you guys want to check those out, go to wartune.dollygames.com. But yeah, so not something hugely consequential for me, but we'll see how it goes. There will be not merge, but dual multi-stat divinity souls as well. So I'm hoping that nobody gets overzealous about those and starts making a ton of them, but we're gonna see some very, very scary high BR selves very soon. And here we're up against Ray, which I think is even more of a blowout than Chili was. Really, it's just a completely different problem once we start talking about class wars. You know, I fight Chili and I fight Ray in BG, and well, with Ray I may be a little bit even. With Chili I've been just losing left and right lately to him and his Odin. But for both of them I still struggle a bit in BG, and but it's a completely different story once you have these merged selves in class wars. Yeah, so Ray's Steel just wiped out half my health. That does not feel good. So throw on a heal rune. Not sure if that's... It doesn't really matter. Heal or Guardian, it's not gonna make a difference. When I was still in Ray, a little worse than when we're in BG, and she knows it has a lot to do with the troop and a lot to do with dimensions this time around. I think Ray is the only one who's going to be completely prepared or prepared the way that she would normally be for class wars. I was talking to Chili earlier in the week, and I was like, oh, it's not gonna be class wars a week. We don't have to worry about it. It's gonna be Titan War, and neither of us prepare for Titan War the way that I think Ray does. So Ray was able to sort of adjust and be able to get her dimensions together for this week, whereas for me I was like, there's no way. When I found out about class wars on Monday or Tuesday, I had an expert fire dimension that I was almost done with, and that was like the extent of my dimensions. So yeah. Anyway, here wrapping things up with Euphoric. Euphoric can comfortably make Warlord's Hall, I think, but is kind of lumped with all the players who can't quite compete for first. I mean, at this point, I think it's a two-player race for first place between Ray and Chili, and then it's like maybe you can throw Kavla in there if she has some interesting, self choices and BR, and maybe Asher. So it's like Lala, Solara, myself, and then maybe Asher, maybe Kavla, all competing for third place, and then everybody else. And that's okay. I mean, the cash disparities are a little bit too big not to have things go that way, I guess. Anyway, so typical number of points, went 12 and 3, which is like what I always get, maybe 13 and 2 if I have a really good prelims, but I always end up facing somebody who's really tough. So potted up, I was at 4.66 million BR, and I think I show my resistances as well and my dimensions. So there are level 11 crystals. I can make some level 12s maybe. I'll see how I feel later tonight when I do the overview. Maybe I'll make some level 12 crystals. And then the finalists, there is the usual people from 1821, and then I think there are 3 people from the server we merged with. So Mordecai, I think, finally made finals for my guild, so congrats to her. And then Star Shooter, Pack, and I think it was Darsty that made it from the newer servers that were added to ours. As far as wagers go, I think Ray is a very safe first. If not, maybe Chili can pull something off. And then Chili is an easy second. So those two, 1 and 2, and then probably Lala or myself for third. Even though my dimensions are terrible, I would say that that I still have a pretty good chance considering my reduced res and considering my stats. So Lara, I think his dimensions are totally checked out. I don't think he's been playing much lately, so I don't think there's a good chance that he's going to be placing well. But who knows? He might pull something together in the next few hours. I'm not totally sure. And yeah, but that's about it. Good luck with your wagers. Good luck in finals. I'll see you guys later. Take care and have a very good day.